Hi, I am Igor Yabenki. I spent 20 years backing early stage founders across the US, Europe, and Israel. Over a dozen of them became unicorns: Miro, Deal, Turing, PandaDoc, and others. I started as an angel investor. In 2005, I founded Altair Capital. Later, I built Alta Club, a global investor community. I worked with hundreds of founders across B2B SaaS, future of work, fintech, digital health, and so on. And through all of it, I learned that one thing separates startups that thrive from those who barely survive. It is not better tech, not more capital, not even harder work. It is focus, clear priorities, fast decision, and narrow execution path. That's exactly what we'll practice here. Welcome to my AI Founders School. Over the next few days, we are going to do something very specific. We'll turn your startup idea into a focused, actionable plan. This program is designed to focus on practical tasks that will help you to prepare for a successful launch. By the end of this model, you will walk away with a few key deliverables. First of all, you'll have a sharp understanding of your user, your problem, and the one feature your product must prove. Second, you'll build a pitch deck and one-page summary that investors and partners can read in a couple of minutes. And third, you'll develop MVP plan with milestones, success criteria, and weekly check-ins. Top performers will get an invite to continue building their products at our offline campus. Now, let me walk you through how we'll work. This program runs on one core question. What's this one thing we can build that proves real value? That's it. That is the filter for everything we'll do. You won't build 5 features hoping one works. You won't chase every idea that sounds clever. Instead, you'll define one MVP in plain language. You'll choose one key metric, something that signals real value to your user, and you'll map a single growth channel to this metric. That's how you stay focused, making decisions based on real signals and metrics. Now, let's zoom in on what we'll tackle today. Let's get started. Today's lesson is about choosing an idea. Even if you already have a project in mind, don't skip this lesson, because this part matters more than you think. Choosing doesn't mean just picking an idea. It means getting clear on 4 critical things. What problem are you committing to solve? What kind of solution will you test first? What is a killer feature? The one thing that must work. And what resources do you actually have? Time, tools, budget, people. Why does it matter? Because skipping this step leads to most common error mistake: building too many features that prove nothing. We want the opposite. One focused product that creates a real value for a real user. If something isn't working, we'll fix. So you don't need to be perfect from the start. You just need to be focused and fast. Now, let's get to work. We'll start day 1 by defining your problem, your user, and the one feature your MVP must prove. Progress starts with a mindset shift. Most founders ask, what is the perfect version of my product? It is a wrong question. Here is the one that actually drives progress. What's this one thing I can ship that helps a real user? In fact, when you cut the scope of work, you reduce risk. You get fewer moving parts, faster feedback, and more clear signals. Ask yourself, what can I ship in the next 7 to 14 days that a real user will understand, use, and say, this is exactly what I needed? That question will guide everything we do from here. Let me show you why it matters. When a founder builds three things at once, they don't ship three products. They ship three half products. None of them prove value, and users walk away confused. I know it feels smart in the moment. Just one more feature, one more tweak, but each addition slows you down. I'll walk you through four patterns I see again and again when founders try to keep too many options open. First, resource splitting. Imagine two engineers working on three competing priorities at once. Everyone is switching tasks, jumping between threads, but none of them is in flow. Progress slows down. They get frustrated, and the team starts to lose momentum. Sounds familiar, right? The second pattern, conflicting stories. Your product might make perfect sense in your head, but then suddenly your deck says one thing, your cold emails say another, and your website says something else entirely. One founder I worked with called their product an automation platform, but their pitch deck framed it as analytics. And their outbound emails were selling outsourced operations. That kind of mismatch confuses investors and makes users hesitate. Don't do that. The third one is vanity metrics. At some point in your startup journey, you started gaining followers, getting some likes, maybe even land a mention in the press. It feels so good and it looks like traction. But here's a big problem. The one number that actually shows progress is still flat. When you're chasing too many goals at once, it gets hard to tell what's really working. You've got signals pointing in all directions, but none of them move the business forward. So many founders out there confuse attention with progress. But in the end, only value keeps users coming back. And the fourth pattern is feature creep. It usually starts small. You get a quick feature request which seems easy to build. So you go to the team and say, let's just add this one extra feature. But then another request comes in and another. Before you know it, you got 10 small things on the list. And together they add up to a full sprint. That's exactly where your roadmap is off track. Your team is overloaded and your priorities become a mess. It is one of the most expensive mistakes founders make. So, how do you stay out of all this mess? I'll share the antidote. It's simple. You commit early and define three things upfront: the problem you are solving, the one feature that must deliver value and solve the problem, the one growth channel you'll use. That's your focus point and filter for every decision. Just as important, you decide what you are not doing right now. The ideas you'll park, the features you won't build, at least for now. Remember, focus isn't about doing one thing forever or being narrow minded. It's about sequencing and doing the right next thing. Think of it like taking a photograph. The main subject should be in sharp focus. Everything else is like a blurred background. It's not deleted, just out of the way, so nothing distracts from what really matters. In a company, that means naming the current goal, pushing everything else into the background. Do less now, so you can do more and do it better later. Let me give you a classic example of what really focus looks like. Take WhatsApp. In the early days, their founders made a very deliberate choice. They didn't chase every user request. They didn't stuff the app with ads or a bunch of features. Instead, they obsessed over one promise: reliable, fast, private messaging. Their killer combo was free messages over the internet and a chat list built automatically from your phone contacts. That simplicity drove viral growth, and that focus did three things. It gave users a reason to switch. The value was clear and consistent. It kept the team aligned. Every decision was judged against one standard. Does this make messaging better, faster, and more reliable? Each improvement moved the product forward. The product kept getting better, not randomly, and users felt it. Now, the takeaway here is not to copy WhatsApp. It's this. Choose one promise you can keep every single day and let that promise guide everything. Your roadmap, your decisions, your metrics, and your culture. If you do that, if you keep your promise tight and you focus clear, progress becomes a lot more predictable.